Walk beneath a medieval roof beam, or run your hand along a harbour piling that has survived salt, rain, insects and centuries of neglect, and a simple question surfaces fast. If today's paints, epoxies and pressure treatments are the pinnacle of protection, why is so much older wood still here while modern timber fails early? The answer isn't luck, and it isn't better trees alone. It's a treatment philosophy medieval builders trusted so completely that they used it everywhere, from ships and churches to bridges and barns. They didn't try to entomb wood in plastic films. They fed it, stabilized it, and let it breathe. That single idea changed everything, and it still outperforms most modern sealants today. The treatment was not a product, but a system built around pine tar and oil. Across medieval Europe, the backbone of wood preservation was pine tar, often combined with natural oils like raw linseed. Pine tar wasn't a surface coating meant to look clean or decorative. It was a deep-penetrating, biologically active substance distilled slowly from resin-rich pine roots and stumps. When applied warm, it soaked into wood fibres, carrying antifungal compounds deep below the surface while leaving the cellular structure flexible. Unlike modern sealants that harden into brittle skins, pine tar moved with the wood. As timber expanded and contracted with weather and seasons, the treatment flexed instead of cracking. That alone explains why it endured where modern coatings fail. Once a sealant cracks, water gets trapped. Medieval treatments avoided that trap entirely. Medieval builders understood moisture better than most modern systems do. The medieval goal was never to keep wood perfectly dry. It was to control how moisture entered and, more importantly, how it left. Pine tar slowed water absorption without blocking evaporation. Wood treated this way could get wet and then dry again without rotting. Modern sealants often promise total waterproofing, but wood is not concrete. When moisture sneaks in through fasteners, joints or hairline fractures, modern coatings prevent drying. Rot begins behind an intact surface. Medieval builders accepted exposure but designed for recovery. You can still see this logic in surviving timber churches, ship hulls and roof frames where treated wood darkened with age but remained structurally sound for centuries. The reason pine tar worked is chemical, not mystical. Pine tar contains phenols and resin acids that inhibit fungi, bacteria and insects. These compounds are toxic to the organisms that digest wood, but harmless to the wood itself. Modern pressure treatments rely on salts and chemicals that can leach out, corrode fasteners, and degrade surrounding materials. The medieval treatment bonded with the wood rather than sitting on top of it. That bond is why tar-treated timber becomes harder over time, instead of softer. As oils oxidize and resins polymerize slowly, the wood stabilizes rather than decomposes. The application method mattered as much as the material. Medieval craftsmen didn't brush cold tar onto finished surfaces and call it done. Wood was often warmed by sun or fire, so pores open naturally. Tar was heated gently until fluid and worked into grain, joints and end cuts where moisture enters first. This wasn't a one-time process. Structures were retreated periodically, often every few years, in exposed environments. That maintenance mindset is another reason medieval wood survived. Protection was renewed instead of forgotten. You know, a modern builder can actually apply the same principle by focusing treatment on the end grain, the joints and those exposed areas, rather than just coating everything indiscriminately. Ships, well, they really proved the treatment under the harshest conditions imaginable. Medieval ships were, in a way, floating laboratories for wood preservation. Salt water, those constant wet and dry cycles, and all sorts of marine organisms could destroy untreated wood really quickly. Yet, tar-treated hulls managed to survive long voyages and repeated seasons at sea. Tarred rigging resisted rot, and tarred planking held off shipworm for much longer than untreated wood ever could. The same treatment that protected ships was trusted for homes and infrastructure, simply because it had already proven itself where failure meant sinking. These days, modern sealants rarely face that kind of test unless they're in controlled conditions and get replaced pretty frequently. Why modern sealants replaced it has more to do with speed than performance. Pine tar is slow to produce, slow to apply, and, well, slow to cure. Modern construction, you see, prioritizes speed, uniform appearance, and short-term warranties. Synthetic sealants look clean, dry fast, and, honestly, photograph well. Longevity beyond a few decades is rarely the selling point these days. Medieval builders assumed buildings would outlive them. That assumption shaped every material choice. When durability matters more than convenience, the old treatment still wins. The principles still apply even if materials change. You don't need a medieval shipyard to learn from this, you know. Choosing breathable treatments, avoiding moisture traps, retreating wood instead of sealing it permanently, and respecting grain and end cuts will dramatically extend timber life. The lesson is not to reject modern materials outright, but to understand why older methods worked. Medieval wood treatment succeeded because it worked with wood's nature instead of trying to overpower it. This knowledge survived because it worked, not because it was written down. Medieval builders didn't leave instruction manuals. They left buildings, ships, and beams that still stand. That is the strongest evidence any technique can offer. If you value real historical engineering, long-term thinking, and survival lessons drawn from what actually endured, subscribe to the channel and share this video with others who understand that progress doesn't always mean improvement.